Hello, and welcome to POMA Does, a podcast produced by the Pennsylvania Osteopathic Medical Association. We provide a voice for osteopathic medicine and share insights on issues important to osteopathic physicians, residents, and students, as well as those who embrace the osteopathic philosophy. POMA's mission is to promote the distinctive philosophy and practice of osteopathic medicine for our patients, our members, and the communities we serve. Thanks for tuning in.
Good evening. My name is Diana Ewert. I am the Chief Staff Officer of the Pennsylvania Osteopathic Medical Association Foundation. Yes, it is a mouthful. I'm here this evening with Dr. Anthony E. DeMarco and Dr. Pamela Goldman, both members of the Foundation Board of Directors. And we're going to talk a little bit about the POMA Foundation. The POMA Foundation was established in 1973 to serve as the philanthropic organization alongside POMA. POMA is the professional association and trade organization, and the foundation is a separate organization with a separate tax status. The mission of the foundation is to preserve and promote the osteopathic tenets of mind, body, and spirit for patient care and the physicians who serve them. The foundation received its initial funding from the association. Ongoing contributions come from POMA members, other charities, and private donors. So I'm going to start this conversation asking Dr. DeMarco and Dr. Goldman how they first got involved with the foundation.
Thank you, Diana. For me, being on the board of the foundation was just a natural progression of leadership and a feeling of duty to the profession that has been so good. I wanted to make a difference, and it just seemed like a natural progression to do this for our fellow osteopathic physicians and for the mission.
And Dr. Goldman?
Sure. Well, I also moved up through leadership and had the opportunity to serve also in leadership on the foundation. But one of the big things that happened to me is I was recruited to develop the resident wellness program. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through our discussion today. It's one of the first formal granting programs that we have put together and still thriving today.
So, Dr. DeMarco, the foundation having been formed in 1973, it seems like it has probably changed its focus and outlook over the years.
That's true, Diana. The foundation initially funded scholarship grants and over the years focused on osteopathic students and residents. By broadening its mission, the leadership found that our reach could extend to benefit the communities we serve also. Each group within the osteopathic family, osteopathic medical students, physicians in training, new physicians in practice, and seasoned physicians had different needs, and the foundation needed to support them and all of the communities that they serve. In 2022 to 2023, we funded several initiatives and projects. We granted $40,000 in scholarships, $15,000 in resident wellness grants, almost $400,000 to support the 3 campuses of osteopathic medicine we have in our Commonwealth by providing scholarships, including white coats and stethoscopes, to our newest osteopathic family members in the students' first year of medical school. This last year, we added scholarships for a learning platform called Sketchy, used in the medical schools and was very well received by the students. In fact, because of our relationship with Sketchy, they are developing osteopathic content for the learning platform going forward.
Didn't you say that you have a student that you know that has been using the learning platform?
Yes, my nephew, who's a graduate of LECOM, one of the things I asked him was, did you find Sketchy helpful in studying for he thought it was wonderful. He loved it. So I have firsthand knowledge that it was a successful project.
That's great to hear.
Dr. Goldman, maybe you could talk about residents, physicians in training.
Sure. So one of the things we've done over the last several years is expand the scholarship program from just being focused on primarily students to being available then for our residents, our physicians in training. We've also joined up with the American College of Osteopathic Family Physicians Foundation to help support Osteopathic Family Medicine Board Certification Initiative that they have. And basically, it's to provide financial support for family medicine residents in Pennsylvania who desire to be osteopathically board certified. And it provides some scholarship money to help them with the logistics of getting that board certification. We also, as I alluded to before, supply wellness grants for our residency programs. We started back in 2016 with one pilot project that was very successful. And so we decided to expand the grant program. In 2023, we granted 17 awards to help support wellness in our residents. The projects are anywhere from developing a garden so that the greater hospital community benefit, or bowling, or playing softball, or doing other kinds of bonding and community type activities within the residency program to help support their mental health and well-being for sure. We're looking forward to opening up the next session up this fall, so you can look out for opportunities to apply for those grants going forward. One of the really cool things is it used to be when there was osteopathic and allopathic residencies, it used to be just exclusively for the osteopathic residencies. Now we've opened it up so that any residency that has an osteopathic resident physician in their program can apply for the grant. What about practicing physicians, Dr. DeMarco?
Well, continuing medical education is the one thing Pennsylvania does better than any other state in the United States. This is accomplished through financial support and accreditation grants that the foundation provides. The foundation funds the dual accreditation, both AOA and AMA, 1A credits, which are provided for all of our educational programs. This allows osteopathic physicians who are either osteopathically or allopathically board certified the opportunity to earn the CME credits they need to keep board certification. Many of us had friends that we graduated with in medical school, for whatever reason, ended up doing an allopathic residency, but they have DO after their name and they support the DO profession. Well, they were never allowed, or they could never take advantage of the extremely good education opportunities that our convention and scientific seminar provided every year. But through the hard work and funding, we were able to get that accreditation. So now we can bring family members home back to our osteopathic convention and scientific seminar, and they can get the credits they need to stay board certified. And we welcome them all back.
Really excited to announce that as of June 1st of 2023, the POMA Foundation is the exclusive physician partner to the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association, the PIAA. If you're not familiar, the PIAA is a nonprofit corporation and is a voluntary membership organization consisting of almost all the public, private, and charter junior high schools and senior high schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And it functions to develop and enforce rules regulating interscholastic athletic competition. Well, the partnership that we have developed with them is a 3-year commitment to financially support their Healthy Lifestyles initiative. Now, this will include a series of public service announcements that'll be provided during different tournaments throughout the upcoming 3 years, in addition to other educational opportunities surrounding the idea of healthy lifestyles, not just for the athletes, but also for their families. So we're really excited about that interaction with them. And also this last year, in light of the fact that we're now, thank goodness, coming out of the pandemic, we did have a collaborative project with the AOA Foundation and the states of Florida, Michigan, Ohio, and Oklahoma's osteopathic medical associations called the Facts on Vax campaign. And basically, the goal of the campaign was to prepare osteopathic physicians to discuss the importance of COVID-19 prevention, which included vaccinations with patients. The project is now complete. Thank goodness we're on the better side of all this pandemic, but the information is still available as a resource for physicians and the public alike.
Well, it sounds like the foundation has really been growing in leaps and bounds, and I know that both of you have been involved in 2 new foundation grant programs. Since 2021, over $150,000 for projects and initiatives supporting the communities and the osteopathic family have been given by the foundation. I know that there are 2 grant programs, and we're going to hear a little bit about each one of them from you all. We have a community enhancing grant program and the Bright Ideas grant program. Dr. Goldman?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So one of the ideas of the grant program was, how can we best support the activities of the association? And again, that's the trade organization. In 2021, we took a look at the strategic plan for the association and developed objectives based on that strategic plan. And basically, there were 5 grant focus areas that we encouraged people to apply for. Those areas were medical education, focusing on osteopathic philosophy, public health, technology, and wellness. Through this grant-making process, we've been able to further clinical, educational, and community service projects, as well as spark innovative programs that embody the osteopathic philosophy, truly fulfilling the mission of the foundation. For the Bright Ideas grants, those we actually just completed grant cycle for that. Those are smaller grants that are meant for community-based projects or scholarly activity or quality improvement type projects in the educational setting. Usually the range is around $1,000 to $5,000, depending on what the request is and what the project is. We look forward to doing this again next spring, and there'll be more information available for that.
And the other program that we have, the Osteopathic Community Enhancing Grants, Dr. DeMarco, you have been instrumental in reviewing some of those grants and making recommendations to the foundation for funding. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the Osteopathic Community Enhancing Grants, there will be a full application process. This is the larger of the grant opportunities, with the average amount of the grant being approximately $25,000. The opportunity coming in August of 2023, there's the Osteopathic Medicine Community Enhancing Grant coming in the fall of 2023. There's the POMA Foundation Resident and Student Grant. And coming also in the fall of 2023, there's funding for wellness events for your residency program. And coming in the spring of 2024, there's the Osteopathic Medicine Bright Ideas Grants. Again, we're asking for your support for the work we do. The goal is to have further reach in Pennsylvania, the research and community-based projects that are making a difference in the lives of our physicians and the patients we serve. The POMA Foundation is a 501c3 public charity, which means donations are tax deductible. Let me say that again. They are tax deductible. If you need a tax deduction in these times, we're the ones for you. You know, the best we can do, we want to support the physicians. We want to support all the educational processes. We want to support the students, residents, practicing physicians, the seasoned physicians, the communities that we all serve. We can only do that through donors like you. And if you have an opportunity, we'll be glad to take your money. Thank you very much. Diana, I toss it back to you.
And can I just throw a plug in?
Absolutely.
Anyone who has projects that they've been working on where they could use a little bit of funding, as long as it fits one of the goals, and they're pretty broad, support the osteopathic philosophy through mind, body, and spirit. If you have projects that you're working on and want to apply for these grants, they're available. So twice a year, there's opportunities for you to potentially get some funding for the work that you're doing.
I know that we've talked a little bit about this being, the focus has been on osteopathic physicians and students and residents, but any community charity that is looking to improve the health of the public has an opportunity to apply for these grants as well, as long as it meets the mission of the foundation, which is pretty broad, and that we're looking at the body, mind, and spirit connection there. And that is the osteopathic way, if you will. And that's what I enjoy so much about the work I do. I do want to ask, what have you learned and what have you gained by working with the foundation and the grant areas? And I'm just curious what you're personally deriving from this.
It's interesting that when we were students, we got such a thrill when someone would give us a stethoscope. They would give us a pen. They would give us a pad of paper with a drug name on it, as though we were important people. But, in the process of giving out these grants, it's so much more fun giving money to other people. It's so much more fulfilling than receiving. It's a lot of fun. I never realized before we did this grant process, and I told Dr. Goldman this, how hard it was to give away money. Because you have criteria, you have to vet the ideas, you have to make sure they're legitimate, you have to spend a lot of time reading and rereading and making sure, because you have a fiduciary responsibility to the POMA Foundation to make sure that we do things correctly. But it's a very satisfying feeling when you can actually help someone, when you can actually give them money. And I wouldn't miss that for a while.
Dr. Goldman?
Yeah, for me, it's very personal. I had the opportunity to get a scholarship when I was a medical student. And I will tell you, to this day, I still use my stethoscope, the same original one. It's showing its wear, but I still use the same stethoscope that I got 15 years ago. So it really has made an impact on me personally. And then having the opportunity to turn around and impact new generations of physicians in a very positive way. My involvement with POMA, the association, and POMA, the foundation, has just really been surrounded by amazing mentors and people who are so passionate about people and about doing things right and serving our communities very selflessly, for sure. I just definitely have been blessed, and I hope that others will have that opportunity then as well.
I do want to add one thing, because I know people often wonder where funding goes, and it's always been made very clear to me since I've been with the foundation and the association that the foundation was started by money from the association. So we're looking at membership dues and investments. And I think it's important to recognize that the grants, the funding, the programs, the projects, everything that the foundation supports is within the state of Pennsylvania. So as you pointed out, the ACOFP program that we're funding, that money gets focused towards family medicine residents that are wanting to be osteopathically board certified in Pennsylvania. Any other comments or things that you'd like to say? Besides give money, we'll take money.
We'll take money. And Diana, can I mention about the person I'm interviewing tomorrow? Is that
Sure?
It's interesting. When you're POMA president, you get to give out the white coats at a white coat ceremony at all the campuses. And the one I did at PCOM in 2016, when I was president, I gave out coats. And I am interviewing a young doctor tomorrow who I gave a coat to in 2016. And I'm interviewing her to be one of my associates in my practice.
Talk about a full circle.
That's closing the loop, and that's very satisfying, very satisfying. I'm going to check her stethoscope to make sure it's the one we gave her.
Well, thank you both for taking your time to share your background, your passions, and information about the Pennsylvania Osteopathic Medical Association Foundation. We often get confused with the association, and we're here to tell you the foundation is its own entity, and it's doing lots of great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of POMA Does. Be sure to subscribe to POMA Does wherever you listen to your podcasts, and tell your friends and colleagues to tune in. Learn more about osteopathic medicine and POMA on our webpage, www.poma.org, and join the conversation on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, or email us at poma@poma.org. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time for another edition of POMA Does.